Hi everyone, my name is Miss Casey. I am a group facilitator at Congreso, which for the parents and students that would most likely just mean that I am one of the after school teachers and the program that the students attend when they finish their regular school day. Before we begin, I would just like to take the time to thank all of the parents and family members who are essential workers, the ones who are working from home, the ones who are teaching their kids now while working from home. I just want to personally just take the time to say thank you for doing what you do, and hopefully this can all end soon. And yeah, so now I'm going to introduce our activity for today. Since Earth Day is today, I just thought maybe to look into what's something we can do. And I found that there is a way that we can change these water bottles into bowling pins to sort of make like a DIY bowling activity. So that's what we will be doing today. As I also know, a lot of people aren't able to leave their homes, or we are advised not to. So I try to make a variety of ways that people may be able to do this activity without having to necessarily leave their home. So if you don't really have many materials at home, that's totally okay. If you just want to use water bottles as they are, that's perfectly fine. No need to leave the home to get materials to do more. However, if by any chance you do have materials, I was able to figure out a few different ways. One way to decorate the bowling pins is with paper and markers, and then you can just use glue or tape. I use both glue and tape to make sure that the paper sticks on the bottles. A second option is with Sharpie markers. I only had a black Sharpie marker, but I just kind of went along the shapes and the patterns that were already on the bottle to make this the style. And the third option would be paint. Here at home, I already had access to two different forms of paint. We have acrylic paint, which is what I use with this one. And I also have tempera paint, which is what I use with this one, as well as a few others. And I will be explaining how to do all of the different ways in our video for today, okay? So yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're gonna begin.
So, as I begin, here's my water bottle and my construction paper. I start to measure it to see and make sure that it's the right size. It's a little too long, so I grab my scissors and I cut a piece off to just make sure that it's the right size as I'm measuring it again before I glue anything on. And I can see that it is the right size now. Everything is good. Measuring it from the top and the bottom. Next, I grabbed a candle that I had around my house to help me draw a perfect circle that would be Earth. As this activity is inspired by Earth Day, I decided to make that the drawing on my construction paper. So using a green marker, I sort of just eyeballed it for the continents, mostly focusing on the shapes. It doesn't need to be perfect, so I sort of just tried my best to draw the continents. And now I'm shading them in green, and I will be doing that as well with a blue marker to color in all of the oceans. Now I'm going to use a black marker to write Earth Day around the Earth that I just drew and colored in. And here's what it looks like. So now that that's all done, I'm going to grab my Elmer's glue and put it all over the back of my construction paper. Spread it out very nicely. Now that the glue is on, I'm going to make sure that my Earth Day lettering is facing upward, and it is. I grab my water bottle and I just start rolling the paper onto the bottle It's a little bit tricky, but you'll get the hang of it. It's not as complicated as it may look. I started applying pressure to the bottle and it works perfectly fine. Now for this part, I grab another piece of colored construction paper and I measure it for the top of the bottle. I don't like that clear space on it, so I decide to make a little pattern on that little piece of paper just to give it a little bit more style. Now that I'm all done cutting it, I apply some glue onto the piece of construction paper and I start placing it on the bottle where I intended to go, just trying to work with the shape of it as best as I can, and do not forget to apply pressure to the paper so that it'll actually stick on the bottle. So moving on to our second option, we have here a Sharpie, a black Sharpie marker. As mentioned before, a lot of people might not have much of the other materials, so any form of permanent marker will do. And especially if you have different colored ones, that would be fun to use for this activity. Regular markers won't necessarily work. I tried it and it mostly just smeared all over the bottle since it's plastic. Therefore, the permanent markers are best. Moving on to our third option, we have paint, and I'm going to start with the acrylic, which is one of the two forms that I have. And from doing this activity, I realized that acrylic paint, it's super pigmented and I guess less watered down on the plastic material of the water bottles, so this is a great option for this activity. Our second type of paint that we have here is tempera paint. We have this washable version here that we're going to go ahead and try out. I did realize, however, that it mostly depends on which brand of paint. Some of them are more pigmented and vibrant, while others are a little watered down. For example, with this blue, as you can see, the color kind of spreads out more than it did with the red acrylic paint. So I kind of had to put 2 layers on with the colors that I used from the tempera paint, but it still worked. So as long as you're able to work with something, that's all that really counts. With this black, I also used the tempera paint, so I'm just showing here how adding a second layer definitely helps. You kind of have to be generous with the amount that you add, and it definitely helps the color pop a little more. Hey guys, so here I am again. I'm just showing you guys the final product. I decided to go with 3 bottles using construction paper, 2 with Sharpie, and the other 5 with paint, both acrylic and tempera. Now I'm going to use this funnel to add rice into my water bottles. This is what I'm going to use to create some weight to make them act like actual pins. And as you can see, I just keep testing it until I'm satisfied with it, and I go on and add the rest to the other bottles. Okay, so now we have our bowling pins set up. On the top we have 1, on the second row we have 2, on the third row we have 3, and the fourth row we have 4. That's how you want to have them. So I was looking around the house and I was only able to find this yellow ball full of air. You can use anything accessible to you, so let's give this a try. As you can see, not much happened, so as I came to inspect, I realized that only 1 pin fell down, so I just placed it on the side. Alright, so we're trying this again. And as I throw the ball, I realize once again, not much is happening, only a few fell over. So as I was giving this some thought, I decided to stop, and reevaluate the situation. So I realized that the bottles were just way too heavy for the ball that I have, so I decided to take some rice out of it. I'm gonna take a quick water break. Stay hydrated, my friends. It is very important for your health. Water is good. Anyways, so I decided to take some rice out, like I said, and that's what I will be doing now. Okay, so we're back with my yellow ball winking at you, and I got really close trying to just work with it. Nothing at all happens. I try it again. Let's see. Oops, that was embarrassing. Now I have no mercy and they're down. I have 4 left. Let's get them down. Alright, 1 left. Thought I was gonna make it all in one. Just gonna let the pin know that it's going down. It's going down. Let's do it, and it's done. Victory!
Okay, hey guys. So I'm actually like a little bit out of breath. It was a little bit of a workout, which is good because we need to get our bodies moving. It's a little hot in here. Yeah, anyways, the point of the activity is just to have something to do. The water bottles don't need to be as decorated as mine were, or they can be even more decorated, whatever you guys decide you want to do. And yeah, I hope you guys try it out, and please let us know how it went, what do you guys think of it, and yeah, see ya.